I've noticed that a lot of streaming services don't have old movies. So I thought I'd make a video in case anyone's interested in ways to watch old movies or find out about old movies that exist. My top suggestion about how to find old movies to watch is to go to the library. Libraries often have a collection of well-known old movies. And by old movies, I'm talking about maybe like Hollywood movies that were made from between the 1930s through the 1960s. They'll often have very important and well-known old movies, but they'll sometimes have a few less well-known movies too. I've watched so many old movies that way. And sometimes I just browse in alphabetical order the movies at the library, and I would see old movies, in some cases that I'd never heard of before, and either check them out or at least think like, oh, that's a movie I could at some later date watch. And I've found newer movies this way too. Another way to find old movies is to look up the year, like movies made in such and such year. And there will often be a lot of movies, some of which you'd never heard of before, maybe you'd vaguely heard of, but like that's if you want to find more obscure, or at least not quite as well, or at least not quite as well known of movies. And sometimes you could look up the year and the genre if you have a particular genre you like, and that way you could get even more obscure old movies. Another way to find old movies is by searching for movies an actor was in, or movies that a director has directed. If you saw an old movie by a director you like, well, you can look up other old movies. So if you see an old movie with an actor you like, well, you can look them up online and see what other movies they were in, and then you can watch those, whether in some cases you might be able to get them from a library, though some might be more obscure movies, but you at least know they exist, and if you're interested you can buy them or find them. And sometimes there might be smaller streaming services, not even the type of streaming services where you need an account, but you can watch for free with ads. That's another way to watch old movies, is of course you can buy them on DVD, but for sometimes less well-known movies they might be on like a free streaming service. It seems like bigger streaming services often don't have old movies as much, like the type you pay for, but sometimes free. It seems like the streaming services that are free but you have to watch the ads, they often have old movies. So, those are my suggestions for someone who is interested in getting into watching old movies but hasn't really before. So, what's your favorite old movie? Leave it below in the comments. I feel like I should give some old movie quote at the end, but I don't know which one I should give.